He was a morbidly obese surgeon destined for an operating table and an early death. Now he's a rebel MD who is fabulously fit and fighting to make America healthy again. This is Stay Off My Operating Table with Dr. Philip Ovadia.
Hey, folks, it is Stay Off My Operating Table with Dr. Philip Ovadia, and we have a returning guest today, Steak and Butter Gal, whose name is now officially out there on the interwebs. So, Bella Ma, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be back.
When we interviewed you, however many years ago it was, I think it was the first time I'd ever talked to somebody who had been such a hardcore vegan and had experienced all the health issues that you had experienced and then figured out how to fix them. Since then, obviously, we've run into it a lot, but there's been stuff happen since then. And I've really been looking forward to having you back and hearing more. So, Phil, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, Bella, I will say, continues to be just a force of nature within this movement. And I love, seeing all the stuff that she does and how she does it on social media. I, have the wonderful opportunity of usually being in person with her a couple of times a year at various conferences. I will say one of the most amazing things about Bella is the amount of steak that she can eat. People, I think, see her social media, videos and say, no, she can't really eat like that. This is all like an act and all of this. And I can tell you, I've had the opportunity to sit down and have meals with her, and it just continues to amaze me that she does. This is not an act. This is her real life. And she is just a very genuine person. And, I know sometimes she gets attacked as maybe being not that, but I can certainly verify. But yeah, I'm really excited to have Bella back. And I think, Jack, what you brought up is a great way for us to start this conversation. It is going to be a focus of my upcoming book.
Amazing.
Part of it is a vegan recovery guide. And Bella has been one of the inspirations for that. And we actually talk about Bella in the book. But maybe just for people that didn't hear the first episode, don't know your story, take us through the background of that, Bella, what you actually went through. And then, let's talk about sort of what's happening out there around this, what we're seeing in terms of vegans going to carnivore. And maybe we'll talk about if you're aware of anyone going the other way, because honestly, I'm not, but it's a great way to start the conversation.
Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Ovadia. It's always so great to see you in person at these conventions and meetups. And thank you for verifying that I don't lie about the amount of meat that I eat. Well, I found carnivore because I was so sick after 6 years of being on a vegan diet. And I always love to share the angle of I tried eating only plants for so long. I've tried eating everything in moderation my whole entire childhood and upbringing as well. And now, these past 7 years, I am eating only animal foods. And when I bring it to this perspective, clear cut, plants only, meats only, and the differences that I feel in my body, in my skin issues, in my energy, sleep, mood, everything that I care about, it really opens a lot of people's eyes. And so when I was vegan, I simply just wanted to lose weight. I will admit I was a teenager and I was gaining the freshman 15 in high school, and I was just desperate. My main goal was just to lose weight. And at that time, I was studying to be a concert pianist. I thought that the rest of my life, I would just be a pianist and I would perform concerts. And so when you are on stage and you're performing every weekend, you do need to wear specific like outfits. So dresses, concert dresses. And I just remember those dresses started to get tighter and tighter. And I got nervous and I didn't want to go through the pressure of my mom needing to go buy more dresses. And I just wanted to wear the same dress. And because of that, I panicked as a young girl teenager in high school, gaining so much weight. I didn't know why it was happening. So I went on the internet and I just simply Googled, how do I lose a lot of weight as quickly as possible? And that day when I searched it, it was a vegan girl called Freely the Banana Girl that popped up. And her videos were promising fast weight loss. In fact, you can look like her if you eat raw till 4. And so this was a movement way back. A lot of vegans were touting raw till 4. And so what does that mean? You eat raw vegan foods, fruits and vegetables, raw, as much as you want up until 4 p.m. When 4 p.m. hits, you are free to eat all the vegan foods that are cooked. So more starchy foods like rice, sweet potatoes, steamed vegetables, and beans. And that was the diet that they were claiming could help you lose a lot of weight. And so that was the start of my vegan journey. Yes, it was for a vain goal just to lose weight, but at the same time, I was struggling with my skin issues as well. I had eczema as long as I can remember, and I had cystic acne already. So when I first went vegan, I did see fast weight loss. I did see better energy, better mood. But that's just because I cut out all of the junk that I was eating at that time. And so living like a really busy lifestyle where I would go to high school and then right after high school, lots of extracurricular activities, competitions, concerts. Every day was a busy day. And my mom was raising 4 kids. So she didn't have time to cook healthy meals every single day. And so I remember we would go to a lot of fast food restaurants. We would eat a lot of processed foods and processed snacks. And so, of course, if I'm reflecting back, eating a diet like that, a true standard American diet full of processed junk and seed oils, and then cutting it out and going whole foods plant-based, yes, of course, I would lose weight quickly and I would suddenly feel better. The big mistake was I kept trying to force that vegan diet to maintain the results that I saw in the first 2 weeks. And that's where it really went downhill. I lost my period. My skin issues never truly got better. It got worse. And I have photos of my cystic acne that I love to share, my before and after, vegan to carnivore. And I think it just says so much. Like it really just shows you how much healing took place when I finally just went carnivore. But yeah, the weight never stayed stable. It still fluctuated. I still felt like I couldn't control my eating. I was hungry all the time. And I think it actually developed into an even worse relationship with food where I started obsessing about eating. What's the next meal? What's the next snack? I'm just starving all the time. And then that caused the loss of my period. So it was all those things combined. It was 6 years into it, unfortunately, that I really woke up again. But yeah, that's what it took for me to stop the vegan diet and look for answers.
And what got you to wake up again? Talk a little bit about that moment. And yours is pretty dramatic, right? Because you didn't do a gradual vegan
Oh
to
no.
carnivore. You were literally one day you were eating vegan, and the next day you were eating carnivore.
Yeah, well, what it took for me to wake up 6 years into vegan was just my lab work results. And at that time, my vitamin D was so extremely low. My doctor had to sit me down and say, if you need to stay vegan, you either have to supplement really, really heavily. And throughout my vegan journey, I did not supplement at all. And I thought that if a diet was really that great, I wouldn't need to supplement. So when she told me I needed to supplement heavily or to just eat some meat, I think that was the wake-up call and the permission that I needed to hear from an authority figure that I respected enough, my doctor, to wake me up. And I didn't have my period at that time. And so something that I would love to have is my own kids and my family with my husband. So that's definitely a big goal as well. So not having a period was also that second part of that wake-up call where I was like, okay, it's time to stop this. It's like, it's clearly not working. I gave it 6 years of serious commitment here. Let's look for answers. And so I did the same thing again, which was I went on the internet and I specifically searched vegan women eating meat for the first time because I just needed to know if there were any out there and what happened to them and if something bad was going to happen to me because I was very scared. Like I was scared that bad things could happen or my skin would get worse if I ate meat again. And I actually found a lot of stories of vegan women eating meat, but not just meat, meat only. And so that's how I stumbled across the carnivore diet about 7 years ago, specifically thanks to Kelly Hogan, Kasumi Chris, and Azra Conlu.
It's interesting. We just did a top 10 podcasts in term top 10 most popular podcasts in our little over 4 years, and Kelly Hogan's was number one. So
Oh,
you're not the only
her
one she's made
story
a
is
difference
just
for.
incredible. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what? So here you are, 7 years later. Obviously, you're doing a lot better, right? I think that's the pictures tell the story, and you've told your story. I guess how would you today talk to teenage Bella and say, this is what you really should know about vegan, and this is why the teenage girl that's out there today searching for how do I lose weight, right? How would you
Mhm.
steer them away from vegan and towards carnivore?
Yeah. Well, I would just tell her to focus on the things that are way more important than just weight loss. And so I think that was the first thing that I could have learned from early on was like life is not about just being thin or fitting in those concert dresses. And so what if we have to buy bigger sizes? Like, so what? Weight loss is not everything for young women, especially for the teenagers growing up or in career paths that require you to look a certain way. I just wish I knew early on that the weight gain that I was experiencing was totally normal and expected and just my hormones. I didn't have the education to know that, and I thought that me gaining weight was wrong and I should be ashamed. So that would be the first thing that I would tell my younger self. It's okay to gain weight. It's okay to be hungry. Just eat. But what I was missing was what foods was I supposed to eat to support my hormones and to feel satiated throughout the day? I didn't know. And when I searched on the internet for answers, now it's like 14 years ago, um, I just happened to stumble across the wrong thing. But even after starting the vegan diet, I wish I knew to focus on the things that mattered. How were my energy levels throughout my journey eating a vegan diet? How was my sleep? How was my appetite, my hunger, satiation, cravings, all of these daily biomarker feedback things that I should have focused on instead of just being so obsessed with losing weight and only losing weight. So that's a message that I try to spread to this day with my carnivore content for the younger audience who watches my content. Like, it is so not about how you look, it's about how you feel at the end of the day. And if you were on a proper diet, not only would you feel amazing, you will also eventually look amazing, depending on how much you need to heal and how much extra inflammation is on your body. But you could have the best of both worlds. And it may not be a strict carnivore diet. I don't think a strict carnivore diet is the end all be all necessary diet. It could be animal based. It could be, whatever. Like I just know carnivore worked for me, but I see a lot of people in the community do well with some fruits and veg. But I always see it is predominantly centered around animal foods. I truly cannot see someone thriving on a vegan diet, just my personal opinion, and doing well and having the best of both worlds. I haven't seen that yet.
I have a couple of thoughts. You said your doctor said you either need to supplement or eat meat.
Yep.
Phil, what is it that meat provides that you simply cannot get from a vegan diet?
Yeah, so it turns out there's a pretty decent list, right? Some of the big ones we talk about are B12, uh, iron in a form that's available to us to use as human beings, certain amino acids that are only present in animals. Vitamin K2 is something else I would point to that's only available in the animal kingdom and we can't get from plants. And how essential all these things are, they do vary somewhat. But the bottom line is every nutrient that we need as human beings to survive, we can get from animal products alone. And the same cannot be said about plant products. There are clearly deficiencies, right? And the vegan community acknowledges this, right? And maybe if I was being the vegan advocate, right, I would say to Bella, well, it didn't work well for you because you weren't supplementing, right? But if you supplement, you can then get all of these things. Now, I kind of agree with what Bella said, right? If this is an optimal human diet, we shouldn't need supplements. And in fact, the reason that veganism wasn't even an option, more than prior to about 70 years ago, right, is because we didn't have supplements. You couldn't just go get
Mhm.
whatever vitamin you happen to be deficient in. And I would also say that, that's not the optimal way to get these things, right? We need them from the food. And it's clear that animal products supply us with everything that we need. The plants end up being optional. And in some cases, they can be harmful. I agree with what Bella said. I don't think that's true for everyone. I don't think everyone needs to be a strict carnivore. But if we're just looking at, can you survive on a carnivore diet without supplementation versus can you survive long term on a vegan diet without supplementation? We have a
Right.
clear answer, that no, you cannot survive long term on a vegan diet without supplementation.
That's awesome.
Bella, you stirred up quite the hornet's nest in various places online since we last spoke. I just did a quick search. What's the latest news on steak and butter, gal? And the first thing that comes up is uh, a Rolling Stone article that
Mm.
basically critiquing, calling into question your honesty, your results, your choices. I suspect if they could have critiqued something else, they would have. But as it turns out, that particular story might not have been 100% accurate. Give us the
For sure.
details.
Yeah, this Rolling Stones article, was it from a couple years back?
Well, I couldn't find an actual Rolling Stone article, but that's the story on the internet is there was a Rolling Stone article. So, I mean,
Oh,
that all by
interesting.
itself to me
Yeah.
illustrates the kind of nuttiness that we have to deal with to get to the truth. And one of the things
Yes, yeah.
that stunned me about your story when I first heard it was the list of medical problems, health problems that you had before when you were a vegan, and the list that completely disappeared when you became carnivore. Now, as an N of one, I realize that doesn't apply to the entire population, but nobody can argue with your experience. That
Exactly. Exactly. And that is all I share on these interviews. This Rolling Stones article, I hopped on a phone call with the writer and she asked so many questions, right? And she did try her best to stay as unbiased as possible. So she would just ask questions, I would share my answer, and then she would hop off the phone call and who knows how she's going to write it. And of course, as expected, she wrote it in a light where she says over and over in every article I've ever shared my time on and my story on, they always say, Bella claims, the steak and butter gal claims that this happened. And so they put it in a light where it may or may not have happened. She may be lying. It may be fake. And then right at the bottom of the article, they always loop in health experts or this nutritionist or a doctor to provide their opinion. And it's always not in favor of the carnivore diet that I was talking about and sharing about, where I did heal so much. And so I treat these articles as a way for myself to get my story out. It doesn't really matter to me what light they like to paint it in or what light they will paint it in. I just know that it's still exposure at the end of the day, and the reader can judge for themselves, okay? And the reader, most of the times, I know that the reader is gonna be curious enough because my story is shocking enough and naturally awesome enough for them want to know more. And a smart reader will know, well, this is a Rolling Stones article, right? What if I just search Steak and Butter Gal on YouTube or Instagram? Let's check her out based on the post that she creates and she posts herself. And so I'm betting on that fact that that's going to happen if a reader is curious enough and they will eventually come around to the information that they need.
All right, well, I'm going to put you on the spot. I have to assume that Big Carnivore has bought and paid for you.
No way.
Big Carnivore, the
I'm still
industrial complex.
exactly. I'm still waiting for the meat industrial complex to show up and start paying all of us, but
Right?
not quite there yet.
No.
It's yeah, it just continues to fascinate and amaze me. But I think we have some good news, right? Here we are recording this January 29th, 2026. 3 weeks ago, right? We got a new set of US dietary guidelines, and
Yeah.
meat was at the top, right? And
Exactly.
Robert F. Kennedy, who was a big force behind that, right, and has been leading this movement, has come out and said he is on a animal-based diet as well, and eats a lot of meat from what I hear and for what I've seen. Talk about what you're seeing in terms of the environment changing around this.
Well, I feel like I have a firsthand connection to the community. So both the newcomers who are just walking into this corner of the internet, like the carnivore animal-based keto community, and then also the longtime community members, the passionate OG members. And so when I do meetings in the Steak and Butter Gang or when I do live streams anywhere, I can have a good idea of like how many people are new, how many people are watching this content for the first time ever, and how many people are longtime supporters. And I am seeing an influx of new members, new curious people, viewers, all of it in the last, I want to say, just single year, like last year. I would say between 2022 and 2024, though, it was the time when anything carnivore diet would just explode. Like it would just be viral. You wouldn't have to do really anything much. All you would have to do is I'm on a carnivore diet, or I'm eating a carnivore diet, or this is what I eat on a carnivore diet. It would just blow up because it was still very new. It was like the novelty aspect of carnivore that made it viral every single time. That's over now. Everybody knows about the carnivore diet now. But in this last year, or maybe even just in the last few months, people are really taking it seriously. I'm starting to see a shift in serious curiosity. Not just, oh, carnivore, ugh, rolling my eyes at that, like lame. No, people are now coming around, being curious, wanting to learn more, and actually trying it.
Is there any event or set of events you think that have led to this, or is it just an accumulation? The snowball rolling down the hill finally has enough of its own momentum.
I think it is absolutely an accumulation, but this recent update in what we should be eating is definitely going to continue fueling a huge shift. It will, but I think it's the accumulation, and also I think it's the rising tide of like more and more carnivore content creators. So
Yeah.
when more young content creators and on all platforms too are talking about how great they feel and what they're healing, people take it more seriously. It's not just one random crazy Asian girl, a steak and butter girl eating like 5 pounds of meat. No, there's actually a big band of us now, and it's just really awesome to see. And I would love to encourage more of that. Yeah.
One of the questions, one of the a serious question that I'd like to hear your thoughts about. One of the qualities I've noticed about almost all vegans is a religious attachment to their diet, as if it means more than just eating. Um, that all by itself tells me that's a little suspect. But I've been equally concerned by what I see, by the same type of attitude I see sometimes on the carnivore side. You got called out on one of these articles for having, I don't know. Oh my God, there was a lettuce leaf on her plate.
Oh, yeah.
And my thought was, okay, uh,
Yeah.
are you seeing that kind of what I consider to be cult-like religious devotion to basically just a way to eat?
Right. That's so I think the writer of that article, I remember my team dropping it in our team chat. And they were like, they were scoffing and laughing at it as if it was a total joke. And I think they even pointed out that the writer of that article was on the vegan side. They were a vegan eater. And so there's no, I have never come across my own community member from like the carnivores calling me out or criticizing me for having anything that's non-carnivore in my content. A lot of the carnivores in the community, they drink coffee. Like I drink coffee. I am drinking coffee and I openly share how much I love coffee. And a lot of the carnivores are doing
I
great
think
drinking
coffee
coffee. And
is technically an animal. I'm fairly sure
really,
coffee is an
yeah,
animal.
I agree. But yeah, this cult-like behavior, it's really mostly just originating from the vegan side. They will do anything to disprove the carnivore content creators who are working so hard spreading truth, and they will take anything they can to step on us and hate on us and try to expose us. There's nothing to expose, right? It's just all from that side. If you were really in the carnivore community, it's really 99% pure love, passion, wanting to help with the cause and the movement. I will come across maybe like a carnivore who is so passionate about the carnivore diet because they truly are healing incredible diseases with this diet, where they
Okay.
do feel so passionate that they can't really see as clearly, and they will start preaching in a way that can come off quite religious. But to me, that's just them feeling that honeymoon phase of a carnivore diet. It's okay. Like if they want to say carnivore diet changed my life and you really do need to cut out all the plants, let them. That's still a message worth spreading. But those who say they're not actually carnivore, she's lying, blah blah blah. It's only ever come from the vegan side or just people who have no idea what a carnivore diet is about.
Yeah, I think you touched on something there, right? That the carnivores that are so passionate really seem to be that way because they've had amazing results, right? And they want other people to understand this. Whereas,
Yeah,
the vegans, right, it almost has to be their identity because that's the only way they can maintain it, right? And it does get
exactly.
into that sort of religious, cultish behavior.
Right.
It's certainly something I see, but one of the, I guess, maybe challenges, right, that we have to tackle within carnivore is there are different ways to do it. And
Absolutely.
it's not one thing. It's not, people say, well, you're just eating meat. How varied can it be? Right. But you can actually have a
Right.
lot of varieties of how you do this. Right. And you can talk about whether it's only meat or it's mostly meat, is it kind of
Yep.
strict, carnivore? And then, you do a very high fat version of this, right? And
Right.
others don't. And so maybe talk about that in particular, right? Because people,
Yes.
quite honestly, they look at what you do and they say, well, okay, eating meat, fine, but eating sticks of butter, right? And it is intentionally provocative, I think.
Yeah.
But again, I know that you've done experiments, self experiments, right? So talk about
Totally.
why you find the fat so essential and beneficial and why people should be thinking about this, if they are considering some variation on a carnivore
Absolutely.
diet.
Yeah, so I want to intentionally start my answer with um, from the passionate members of this carnivore community, which is growing every single day. One of the more frequent DMs and questions that I get is something that goes along this fashion. Bella, I wish I could be as clean and strict as you. I wish I could eat like you. So I want to clarify the reason I eat like this is because I have skin issues that I need to keep at bay, right? So if I were to start eating plants and vegetables and a lot of seasonings, the eczema will come back. And so the skin will be irritated again. And so I eat like this not because I am trying to put myself in a box and just to eat this way for the sake of eating. I have to eat this way because I enjoy life without eczema. And I enjoy life with clear skin and really great energy and no brain fog and no congestion. And I know this because when I travel, I am able to have a little bit of seasonings here and there, but to an extent. The moment I have too many seasonings, the issues come back. So I do need to be strict. And maybe down the line, my body will continue to heal and I will be able to have some fruits and vegetables. But like at this moment in time, I have zero desire to eat a piece of fruit, and I have even less of a desire to eat vegetables. And so that's just me and my personal journey. And so I don't ever want people to feel like, oh, to have results like her or to truly heal like she did, I need to be 100% pure carnivore. And man, that just feels so daunting. It doesn't have to be. If you don't have autoimmune issues to heal, you simply just want to feel better and lose some weight. I have seen too many of my members achieve that by eating a carnivore diet with as many spices and seasonings as they want, with avocados if that makes it eat more enjoyable, with stevia, with sweeteners. It's possible to still feel incredible eating those foods and not be strict. Now, the high fat side of my story, I have always loved eating butter from day one. And I listened to my body, and my body just kept screaming for, I need more fat. I need more butter. I need more fatty scrambled eggs cooked in butter. I need more ribeyes and fatty ground beef. And because I just listened to my body and I didn't try to force myself in a box that somebody else was preaching, I was just listening to my body, and I wanted that much fat. I ate it, and the period came back within just a few months. For me, that was like the best sign in the world, telling me that what I was doing was finally working, that the period was back and the skin was slowly healing. That to me was the shift in my health journey where I feel like I was finally focusing on the things that I should be focusing on. So my skin was clearing up, my energy was going up, my sleep was great, my period was regular. And over a full year of high fat carnivore, my period not only was regular, it was also starting to become more and more painless. And I think any female watching or listening, if you have period cramps every single month, if you have insane headaches and migraines during that time of the month, even if you have extreme sugar cravings, uncontrollable appetite, this is not normal, and this should not be deemed as normal and healthy and just what a female has to go through. You could experience painless periods that happen every single month, and they can actually be an enjoyable experience. And so for me to have felt that these past 6 years, every single month, my period has been enjoyable. Yeah, I'm not going to shut up about this amazing benefit that I got from eating a high fat carnivore diet. And I personally am more on like the higher fat spectrum, like probably the highest fat carnivore that I know. I would say that I eat like 2 to 1 fat to protein when it comes to the actual breakdown. But this just works for me. And anytime I lower the fat, maybe because I was busy traveling, I'm not able to get as much fat. I just feel a decrease in my overall energy levels. I enjoy feeling boundless energy, amazing mood. So I just eat the way that supports that.
And how do you talk to your community members, right? And, all the people that you talk to about
Yeah.
how to experiment with that, right? How to find that balance, and that carnivore isn't only one thing. There's not one way to do it. So how
Right.
do you kind of encourage people to figure out what the best version for them is?
Yes, the best tip that I could give anyone, no matter where they're starting from, is if you're going to go into a carnivore diet, just transition really, really slowly. Don't make the mistake that I made where I did a vegan diet into carnivore diet overnight. I do not recommend that. And when you do approach it with a slow transition, then you can know that along this slow transition, when you start feeling better, if you need to even go into all in strict carnivore at all, because a lot of people, they'll start cutting out the seed oils, the processed foods, the refined sugars, and they'll start eating more meat and lower carbs slowly. And they might find that this is the spot that I love being in. I already feel great. I don't really have much to heal anyways. And they just stay there and they just continue to get the support from all of the amazing content online and the communities that are already out there. And they just found their sweet spot, right? So you wouldn't know where your sweet spot is if you just jumped in overnight 100% carnivore instead of doing that nice transition.
What are some of the rough spots people run into? What are the common ones?
Yeah, sugar cravings do pop up when you cut out all sweet tasting foods very quickly. Meat aversion is something that I work with a lot in the community. People just getting tired of eating beef, heavy, fatty meats all the time. Totally normal. Uh, Stool changes, like loose stool, some will experience constipation. And so there are always these little tips and tricks that my coaches like to give to troubleshoot these things. But I would say meat aversion is the biggest one, where people will just say, "Oh, I wish I could eat like you. I wish I could eat red meat day in, day out and sticks of butter, blah, blah, blah." I need variety. I need my crunch. I need my acid. I need the tang. You could actually provide all of those things. You just have to be a little bit more creative, which is why I also have a huge passion for cooking and making recipe videos. And I like to cook for my husband. He's not strict carnivore at all. He's more animal based. He tries his best to eat a lot of meat, but sometimes he just wants to have his favorite Thai food, his favorite takeout. It is what it is, like I wish he would want to eat cleaner and not eat sweet seed oils, but it's his life, it's his diet. And luckily for him, he doesn't have debilitating diseases or issues that he has to eat strict carnivore for. So when I do make him healthy versions of his favorite unhealthy foods, I always post it, and it seems like the carnivore community really enjoys that because it gives them the variety that they need to stay eating healthy.
Bill, I've got a question for you, and I know Bella's can answer it as well, but I'm thinking from the recovery of health standpoint. Bella had such extraordinary problems and experienced extraordinary results. Do you have to be that sick to enjoy that kind of dramatic response? In other words, it seems like the farther from health you get, the more profound this carnivore diet seems to be for people. And I think about myself. I've got some stuff that I don't love, but by and large, I'm pretty healthy. But when I eat mostly meat, I feel better, but I can't say I feel like a new person. I mostly what I experience is, oh, my gut doesn't hurt anymore. And that's nice, but it's not life changing. Is there something that's very common that happens to people who are so hardcore out the other direction that generates all these changes in our bodies that we experience as so profoundly positive? What is it? Is it
Yeah.
just
I mean, and even beyond the carnivore discussion, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people won't change until they really have to, right? And, there's some major event and they end up on my operating table or whatever it might be. And of course, we'd much prefer that people think about this earlier. I think what has been most impressive to me, right? Now doing this with patients over a long period of time is most people underestimate how sick they are, or they overestimate how healthy they are. And, it never ceases to amaze me when a patient will come and, yeah, there's nothing obvious, right? They haven't had a heart attack. They're not, suffering from some like obvious illness. But they're willing to give this a try, and they do it for 30, 60, 90 days. And they come back and they're like, wow, I did not realize how bad I felt. And even I can point to this, right? When I started this journey, I wasn't like, I wouldn't have considered myself sick. I mean, I was overweight, that one was pretty obvious, but I thought I was doing pretty good, and at that time I was in my, I don't know, late 30s, early 40s, right? And I thought I was doing okay, I certainly wasn't as sick as the people I was operating on. And, only going through this transformation did I realize, no, it's not normal that I had to like go take a nap in my office every afternoon, just to make it through my day, or, that I needed to drink like 10 cups of coffee throughout the day, right, to get it through. There are a lot of these subtle things, the brain fog. I know Bella and lots of other people talk about, right? And it's hard to explain to people what that is, like, until you go through it and you're like, oh, like this is how my mind is actually supposed to work. And this is how I'm supposed to feel in my day. And so, quite honestly, I see a lot more people that kind of go through that transformation. Yeah, maybe there's some minor thing they had, right? That they corrected, but they're just like, you finally realize like what your body is supposed to be able to do and feel like. That's kind of my perspective. I'd love to hear, Bella's thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I love your perspective, and I'm very much on the same page with you, Dr. Ovadia. And I think it's a sad thing, but also a beautiful thing that so many people who do fall into a carnivore diet, it's because they were so desperate and they were seeking answers. They had to finally go on their own path, seeking answers for themselves. It's sad that their doctor couldn't help them, the person that's supposed to help them achieve health when they're struggling. And I see that too many times, right, with people who join the community and they tell their story and it's moving. It's so moving every single time. But then I do want to bring up that there really is, and I'm seeing it every single day. I would say more specifically over on TikTok and Instagram than YouTube. I'm seeing every day that there is this rising community of younger viewers who are in like their 20s. Most of them are in their 20s, but I have come across viewers sharing their story with me who are 14 up until 18 as well. And it's just so exciting because our future generation, or the generation that I am part of right now, like they are waking up. They are realizing that they can actually control their health, up their energy, feel more sharp and alert so that they can achieve the careers that they dream to achieve as well through something as simple as what they're eating. And I think that's really powerful. Yes, the food pyramid is going to help shift that attention as well. But again, it's just really the content that is shaping these viewers to focus on the right things. And when I talk about, I just don't want to do this alone. I want to see more young voices, younger content creators spreading the same message that Dr. Ovadia and I are working hard to spread. Like this is going to really spread the carnivore diet, the animal-based diet, the keto diet, low carb like wildfire. When there's multiple content creators spreading their own story, it's their truth, it's real, it's going to work much faster. And then I did want to add that when we share our stories, that's actually even more powerful than when an expert or a health professional teaches anything. People just feel more connected and more relatable when they hear somebody else's story. Yeah.
Is there an obvious bias toward males versus females or younger versus older in this group?
That's a great question. When I look at my YouTube channel and audience on all platforms, it is predominantly female. And I think it's just because I'm a female sharing about female topics, right?
Yeah.
But I ask my fellow carnivore content creator friend, his name is Max German. He has predominantly male viewers
okay.
and followers. So it's really just whoever is posting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. When Jack and I have analyzed our audience, I thought it would be predominantly male. And it turns out that it's pretty close to 50-50. And if anything, it might skew a little bit more female than male, right? Here I am talking about heart disease, right? Which, although it does affect both sexes equally, right? It's more thought of and used to certainly be thought of as, this was more of a male problem. And of course I'm male, right? So my expectation, right, starting this and as we've gone along was, we're going to only really be talking to the guys. And it turns out that we very much have a pretty balanced. And, it's also, right, you would think carnivore, okay, men eat meat, right? Women aren't supposed to eat as much meat. And so, but, I've been continually surprised as the community continues to grow and going to the conferences. Yeah, there's a lot of strong interest from females in this. And I think it's great that we can get that messaging out there. Yes, it is okay for women to eat meat, and it's okay for women to eat all meat and lots of meat, and they should be doing this. And like you said, there are many good reasons why young women should be paying attention to this. I mean, we have a
Exactly.
crisis of infertility,
Mm.
and low fertility in this country. And we know that, a lot of it is just metabolic disease coming from eating the plants, eating the processed food, eating the seed oils. And a carnivore diet or a low carb variation of some sort can be very powerful in reversing that.
Yes. Love that.
Let's address the elephant in a few of the rooms of the carnivores. HDL, LDL, triglycerides. As I understand it, Steak and Butter Gal is probably one of those folks that Nick Norwitz has identified as a lean mass hyperresponder. Phil, unpack that, and then let's talk to Bella about her horrifying blood tests.
Yeah. So, lean mass hyperresponder basically means when you go on low carb diets, and this does not only apply to carnivore, it is low carb broadly, that some people see their LDL cholesterol and their total cholesterol levels go very high. Now, I always like to explain to people, this is not everyone. This is actually a small percentage of people that see this response. But, the concern is, well, those high LDL levels, those have to be dangerous because, we think moderately elevated LDL levels within the general medical community are dangerous. So we can't even fathom levels that some people get. And obviously, I spend a lot of my time talking about this. And before I give maybe my whole perspective, I'd love to hear Bella's perspective. And I think Bella and I have done at least one video, if not more, actually going through her labs and talking about this.
Yeah, yeah. So the labs that we went through with Dr. Ovadia, yeah, I think it was 2 videos, just because it keeps being asked about, like, what are your labs? What are your labs? So I just do fresh videos. And Dr. Ovadia went through them and he was not concerned at all. So he even said that my triglycerides are, I think you said they're like the lowest that you've ever seen. And my HDL is, I feel like pretty healthy. I think it was 98 for the HDL and the triglycerides were as low as like, it was in the teens, like 15 or something like that. Yeah. So I'm not
Uh,
concerned. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, neither am I. And, actually, just this past weekend, I was speaking at Low Carb Boca, and we had an entire day and a half dedicated to cardiovascular disease. We had a lot of different, physicians coming from sort of different perspectives, including Dr. Agatston, the Agatston score on your coronary artery calcium score is named after. He developed it. Myself, Rob Sywis, Dave Feldman, a couple of other practicing cardiologists were there. And, I think the bottom line where we're at is we are accumulating more and more evidence that LDL that's raised in the context of a low carb diet is not the same as the average person on a standard diet or mixed diet with a high LDL level. And it doesn't have the same implications for health. And yes, we want more data, and there's more data coming. But, I kind of made the point, right, that I feel at this point, Don Quixote, right, we're trying to fight off the ghosts, right? We're trying to fight the windmills.
Yeah.
This was never a valid argument to start with. And why do we have to spend all of our time trying to debunk something that wasn't true in the first place? And I'm hopeful the environment, again, is starting to evolve, that at least it's being acknowledged, right, that LDL isn't the end all and be all when it comes to heart disease that we think it is. And, if you have people, and we talked about it earlier, right, getting amazing results and improving all these aspects of their health, right, to say that they should stop doing that because of one number on a blood test, it's just quite frankly silly at this point. And I continue to hope maybe one day I won't need to be talking about it as much because it will just be accepted. But in the meantime, I'm here to keep talking about it because it's an important message to get out there.
I stumbled across in my X feed today, just randomly, and I assume it's because the algorithm knows that I am interested in these kind of things. another guy who talked about his LDL was elevated, his HDL was fine, his triglycerides were low, and in terms of just general health, he was in extraordinary health. But his doctor said, "Oh my God, you're going to have to go on statins, and you'll be on statins for the rest of your life." And between that and my research for this interview with Bella, I thought, oh God, I hate that we still have to talk about it, but
That's
yeah.
what we're here for.
Yep,
So,
that's what we're yeah.
yeah, as we're getting close here to wrapping up, I'd love to hear from Bella what she thinks the future looks like. Like, where do we go from here? What do you think is next for this whole kind of community and movement?
Yeah, I have nothing but excitement and hope for the future. And that's just how I like to live my life for anything. It's always going to get better. Why? Because I'm going to be a part of this movement. I'm going to be a part of the cause. And I'm going to continue to, if there's anything that I do, it will be that broken record. I will be that broken record for the younger viewers to feel brave enough, confident enough, and excited enough to also help spread the word. I think we just need more voices who are brave to share their stories and their truth. And I feel like that's my purpose. So I'm going to keep posting content and recipes that bring attention and excitement and curiosity on a carnivore diet. I will do anything that I can to help my fellow content creators like Dr. Ovadia to also spread truth, like whatever it takes, because I don't have kids right now. I have all the time in the world and I just want to do that right now. But once I have kids, maybe that'll change like my priorities. But still, I think the best thing that I can do to give back to this community, because it saved my life and my health, is to help spread the word. And with the community, like I spend the rest of my time doing meetings in the Steak and Butter Gang. I just love doing that. I love meeting the people who enter the community and the space who are curious. I find that all of my inspiration is rooted from hearing the people share, talk, update, all of that. So it's just this never-ending cycle that I feel like I can sustain forever. So yeah.
Well, let's give folks the details about you're talking about the community. And yes, it's kind of an informal community of folks like this, but you also have something more formal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the Steak and Butter Gang is the online community that I refer to a lot because in there I do have a team of coaches who are trying their best to help out anyone who needs to just feel better and heal. But anything that is more serious and medical, that's why I have people like Dr. Ovadia to recommend, like Dr. Kiltz for fertility issues, Dr. Bright for female hormonal issues. So it's like this wonderful starting hub for anyone who's curious. And then we have a lot of great recommendations to help people further. And then we do have an in-person meetup coming up in July. So it's 4th of July. We do a 2-day event in Bozeman, Montana, which I think is like the perfect place for carnivores to meet up, eat lots of meat, and have a great time. And so that's this year in a couple months now. Those are the two main communities that I like to cultivate.
All right, very good. Unless there's something else, the URL I found for Steak and Butter Gang is, for all intents and purposes, unpronounceable.
Oh, yes. Yes.
All right, so
it's that
I'll
one
just
too.
recommend that folks Google Steak and Butter Gang and you'll get there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, our guest has been Steak and Butter Gal, Bella Ma. Second time with us. Loved getting to renew acquaintances. And I know you and Phil get to talk a lot more than we do. But I love to tell people about my conversation with the vegan concert pianist who recovered her health by going hardcore carnivore. That makes me happy.
Thank you so much.
For Steak and Butter Gal, Dr. Philip Ovadia, this has been Stay Off My Operating Table. As always, connections will be available in the show notes. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Chances are you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't need to change your life and get healthier. So take action right now. Book a call with Dr. Ovadia's team. One small step in the right direction is all it takes to get started. Contact us at ifixhearts.com/talk. That's ifixhearts.com/talk.